What's up, guys? We are live. We're here with AI Mega Show.
You feel alive, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, my break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, she at the back row. All I really take is
To all Doug Hives listeners out there, you know, there's that human touch can't be replaced. You know what they say, a ship at harbor is safe, but that's not what ships were built for. Find yourself a job that requires problem solving and critical thinking. Nurses and your dentists, you know, like even if you've got a robot cleaning your teeth, you're still gonna need to go talk to a person. You still need someone to look at your teeth and make you feel comfortable. Like a lot of people have anxiety around going into dental or medical offices. You know, there's that human touch can't be replaced.
Well, my friends were in a automated driving car yesterday, and I told them to start to see if it would tell them to stop.
How do you think that AI is going to affect your life?
I don't think it is. I do whatever I want, whenever I want, all the time.
Right, here we are, guys. Okay, so you saw the video. I was out on the river and in the lake, and I had to just ask people about AI. And these are people sunbathing. They're out there having a good time, you know. And the last thought on their mind at the time kind of is AI, right? Like they're not thinking a completely huge amount about it, I guess. But Zach did tell me 5% of the time he is thinking about AI. All right, so we're gonna bring up Victoria. How's it going, Victoria?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
We met each other just a couple days ago, right? In a space that Seth and Mind Your Biz and So.mee were having, right? And learning about what you're up to. And I'm like, oh, we got to tell more people about this. Like, right? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, you're a model, you're a business person, and you also now are doing AI stuff. And also in the comments, you can also decide, do you think Victoria here is AI or real? You know, like there's who knows right now, right? So are you in London right now, right? You're traveling all over the world.
Yes, I'm in London, good old London, and I'm happy to be here. You introduced me so well. I don't know what to say. I'm a model, actress. I do social media, and now I have an AI. I'm not the AI. Oh, well, you can think what you want, but I'm the real me. Now I have an AI. It gets confusing for me sometimes too. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here talking with you.
This is super cool. Yeah. So you have, I think, like 1 million followers on Instagram and stuff, right? So you have a big following of people that probably want to interact with you and stuff. And you're a model. So you attract a lot of attention from, like, you know, not only your appearance, but your personality, right? And that's what's really interesting to me, because we're going to bring on right now Christopher, okay? So Christopher, how's it going? You are with So.mee Social, and you created an AI bot or an AI clone for Victoria, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, D-Hype, for having us on. Victoria, nice to see you. Apologies, I'm not on camera. I had my graphics card had some issues before the show.
Of course it did. Your AI bot probably can help you with that.
Yeah, my AI bot is in full effect here. But no, you know, we've been doing So.mee Social for quite some time, social media. And then we launched So.mee AI, which was a templating service that helps people just get the prompts that they need and create the, you know, marketing flow or whatever it is that they would call to action or whatever they want to be doing with AI.
GPT to do all this, because I just literally typed, "Hey ChatGPT, how do I clone myself?" And it gave me this beautiful long list of things to do, right? But there's a lot to it. Like, there's a lot of work involved. There's many different like layers and levels to what the things that you have to do, right? Like, you know, I've been doing research and looking at all the different things that people are saying, like, what do you have to do? What are the ingredients you have to make? You have to like show, like, have all this content of yourself, like images, whatever. Your voice, you have to like clone your voice. You have to clone your likeness somehow, and sometimes it's like 3D movement also, you know, and like people are using Blender and stuff in order to create like avatars and stuff of themselves. And it's really interesting. How close can you get, Chris, to like being really like another version of yourself?
I mean, I think this is like the future. As this progresses, you'll see that the bots and the clones become increasingly more sophisticated. With Victoria, we had to, you know, and what we are doing currently is a deep learning model. So it's constantly going 24/7. She gave us thousands of pictures. We have text, we have videos. And when you say thousands of hours of content, it literally is like training, as Victoria would put it. It's like a little baby, that starts out, and you start to feed it all of this information about who you are, and then it takes on the persona. So I think it's actually a evolution is what we'd call it. There's a lot of tools, and there's probably a lot of different content online that people saying, hey, you have your chat bot in 5 minutes. But in reality, if you want a high quality clone, it's going to take that thousands of hours of content and constantly getting to know you, so that as you train this clone, it actually is very real to life. So in the future, where this is headed is a very real time kind of updated clone, to where you could say, hey, Victoria, maybe she was, last week in Paris and had coffee with a friend, and her friend went to talk to her clone, and that information's already been updated, so they can chat about like the conversation they had. And it could get to that point.
So, that's one thing too about ChatGPT and all this stuff, is that system like is still like how years behind. You're actually programming stuff, and it's going to be up to date with stuff you're even doing now. Victoria, you're in London right now, I believe, right? You're
Yes.
traveling all over the place. You have all kinds of things to do, business, photo shoots, whatever it is, living this wonderful lifestyle. And part of the reason I make videos like I do, like on a boat or somewhere fun, is that it's all about like, what lifestyle do we want, right? And some people are like, I don't even think about AI. It's not even a big deal to me. But to me, like, I look up all these articles, like this article that just recently got published in Forbes, where we see people talking about like, you can earn money while you sleep. You can literally clone yourself and have it do your work for you. And, you can have free time to do all the fun things you want to do in life, travel, go out with your friends and stuff, instead of maybe sitting at home 50 or 60 hours, a week or whatever it is. Maybe, you've a startup or your business, you might put a lot of time into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you guys think that you put into the total amount of time to like create her Victoria's artificial intelligence clone?
I would say, we've been working together. Well, we've known each other for a number of years, but we started working together on the AI project, I would say around 6 months ago, and just started kicking it off. So from then until now, we've been actually constantly working, gathering more information, gathering more images, more video, more text, and had the deep learning model that's been running pretty much 24/7.
That's super great. Okay, so we've got like the layout of what's going on with this, right? Like, so we've got the different facets, right? You've got to capture your likeness, your voice, and your personality. So you're probably like putting in a lot of prompts. Do you have to did you go through and answer a lot of questions?
Yep, we had questions. We had information that we fed it. We had Victoria on a call where she had to initially read a script that we gave her. And so we wanted to capture the voice. Obviously, if we have consent, we have to have consent first. So everything has to be papered up.
That is a big thing too, right?
Authorized. So we can't do any of this at all without first.
I don't know if there's any
agreement.
AI lawyers yet, Chris, but I'm sure there's some like starting to get in that process.
I think so. I think I've seen some things where they have the AI legal generation. It's pretty streamlined and interesting. So AI is transforming a lot of industries.
I'm gonna bring on Seth right now. Seth is in the Seth cave. Mind your biz, all right? We have a secret special guest. I mean, you know who he is coming up after Seth that's going to investigate all this, okay, right? But Seth, have you used this AI before? Have you interacted with Victoria before? And like, what ways have you interacted with Victoria? Like, have you talked to her in person? Have you talked to her chat bot? Like, what is this like interacting with an AI?
That's an interesting question, because I haven't interacted with the voice version of the Victoria AI, but Victoria was on a Twitter Spaces that I hosted a couple of days ago. And as you know, Doug, you were also invited. And so you jumped on stage as well with us when we got started. And she's a thorough pleasure to have a conversation with. And so I wasn't shocked at all when I typed a couple of chats to the Victoria AI that her personality very much shines through as somebody who's extremely supportive of her conversation partner, is a very willing conversationalist, and has really only uplifting things to say, and not in a weird sort of like I'm an AI model that's been trained by some third party, but it very much mirrors the Victoria who we spoke to for, gosh, the better part of an hour on the Twitter space. So, but I've got a visual aid if you'd like to see it. Looks like you are muted, Doug.
Yes, I did mute myself for a second. I got too deep into what you were saying here. Okay, we're gonna now go in and we're start to investigate this AI. So I want to bring up Stache. We've got the top secret agent in all of Web3. Oops. Here we go. Crypto Stache. You're here, the one and only. Now, you've been listening to this the whole time, and I'm sure you've got your agents looking into AI and all this stuff happening, right? We're going to bring up her AI and we're going to interact with it, okay, and ask some questions, okay, Seth? Can you share your screen? Oh, no. We got some more people, too. We got Jay Chains in the house.
Chains.
Chains.
Yo.
And we got Lena in the house. What's up, Lena? The founder of
Hi,
Zeke,
guys.
and Lena's a marketer. So now, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're setting the stage. We've got Victoria here, who's an international model with like millions of followers, and she's created an AI version of herself. Lena, have you ever wanted to have an AI clone of yourself?
I would say no as of right now, just because there's a lot of unknowns.
Okay,
and
good. You're on the no AI clone side. Okay, you're there. Jay Change, what about yourself? Do you want an AI clone? We're about to dive into this clone
Hell yeah.
and
Hell
see
yeah.
what it's like. Okay, Jay Change is on a pro
10 of them.
AI clone.
Give me 10 clones of me.
10 clones. Okay, Stache, what are you thinking about going into this? Like, what are the things you're looking for when you're trying to like investigate AI?
Well, you know, the age-old question, is it going to ruin all of humanity?
Right. Which side are you on right now? Are you on, is it going to make a society better? Is it going to
Look, I don't necessarily need to take sides in this, all right? You're trying to polarize this, Doug. I see what you're doing. Classic American move.
That's right.
I don't know if I
Classic
like
Doug
it.
move. Classic
But
Doug move.
The
classic
problem
Doug
is
move,
that I just need more opinions. You know what I mean? I'm trying to
Well,
gather
okay,
all
I'm
your
trying to give it,
opinions.
Doug. You just got to shut up for a second.
All right, I'm going to mute
All
myself.
right, there we go. So look, the problem is we're going to get to a point where like, what's real? We don't even, I mean, like right now we've already had that problem as a species. Like what is real? What's existence, right? But now we really are going to have a shit time of a show trying to decide what is real, because it's getting so good and it's very approachable for most people. You can go and grab a YouTube video and you can go and, you know, make AI clones, not clones, but like make AI, you know, interactions for yourself through bots. But also we're getting to a point where video is going to be incredibly big too. And so, there you got it. So we're getting to the point like, how are we going to tell what's actually real, and is that needed, or do we actually need that? I think we probably do. I feel like blockchain can probably help with that in a lot of ways, but I think it's inevitable. I don't like everyone who's out on strike right now saying, no, you know, the AIs are killing us and we're not going to have it in our industry. Just stop now. It's not going to do a shit of a day. It's not going to change the future. And the future is for sure 100% it's going to be AI enabled.
As long as the messaging is clear and legitimate, like it shouldn't matter, right? Like, who cares if it's AI generated? Who cares if the art isn't?
Yes and no, but people do. That's what I'm trying to tell you. People do care. Humans care, and so you'll see camps of people saying I'm only going to interact with things that are genuine, quote unquote, and not AI generated. And then you'll see the people who just don't care, like you said, who are just as long as the information is there and I can make a connection with that fake AI video, then sure. But there is something that could get lost in there. I think lost in that kind of translation. But how do we discern is what it comes down to. When it's so good, how do we really discern what is AI and what's not?
We need more people.
I'll tell you right now, my investigation, Victoria's, her account, I think is only like 3 days old on Twitter. So I'm going to say she's an AI.
Okay. All right. Okay. Lena, what do you think about this? You're like right now unsure about AI. Like, what do you think about the future and being able to discern the difference between AI or a real person? Or is that something that concerns you?
I mean, I would be lying to you if I said it didn't concern me. I think from a generational perspective, when we view, Gen Z, they grew up with iPhones in their hands. Now Gen Alpha, the upcoming generation, is under the scope of having ChatGPT and AI in their fingertips. So I think through the lens of that, I mean, it's good. It's going to be so normalized by the time they're adults that whether, people are actually making content or whether by themselves or whether they're using third-party tools is not necessarily going to matter. I think likeness, when it comes to, actual IP from, like, let's say
NIL,
utilizing Tupac on at Coachella and so forth, is going to be increasingly going to happen as time progresses, whether it's through the entertainment sphere, whether it's through the sports sphere and so forth. But it's a matter of, do you want to sign your rights away? And it's going to happen regardless, whether you sign up for Clear at the airport, whether you are utilizing your FaceTime on a day-to-day basis.
I scan my eyeball.
Yeah, so I noticed like two of you guys are wearing sunglasses. I should probably be wearing sunglasses too on this call.
Yes, see?
Yeah,
you gotta follow the Stache and the agency, okay? They know what's up. They're preparing for the future, all right? You know what I'm saying? So
there's a lot of caveats out there with this stuff, man. It's really cool tech, and it's just as sneaky as like when those apps come out, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, look, you can make yourself look really old," and then I gotta get that app, and I do it, and then literally there's this giant toss of like, okay, here's what we get to do with all the information you just gave us, and no one even reads that shit or cares. And then they've profited off of you and maybe use it in some nefarious way.
Yeah, they're trying to guess which one of us is AI right now in the audience. Okay, J Chains, you're very similar to me. We're just like lovable, fun people. We're not worried about AI. We're just jumping in. I'm in the river on the boat telling everyone like, well, hey, how's your dog doing? Are you into AI, bro? But most people in just general everyday life are just not even thinking about it too much, right? They're just not. J Chains, like, what percentage of the day do you think about AI?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I think about AI all day long. I use it as a tool to help me get through everything that I do. Everything from social media to organizing thoughts to even looking like at recipes. Like I'll use AI for literally everything. I think it's a fantastic tool. That's it. It's a tool, right? You can't solely rely on it. And I don't know.
We're gonna use Seth now. We're gonna live through him. We're gonna do some chat AI. We're gonna do some chatting with the AI of this amazing person that's with us today, whether she's real or not. She has a wonderful personality, right? Seth, can you please, here we go. We're gonna share your screen now. All right. So this is how we interact.
This is So.mee Social right now. So this is one of the ways that you can access the Victoria AI. And this is my preferred way. And I have to disclose, and Chris knows, I'm part of the team. I am an advisor to the So.mee Social ecosystem. So I have a vested interest in seeing people at least take a look at this.
Chill.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, this is the thing. There's a lot of different resources online for AI. I've been researching them, looking them up, and you can individually do a lot of this stuff probably on your own, but you have to sign up for things. So.mee and a lot of these projects just are like, hey, we're going to do it for you or help you with it. So like, there's a lot of options to go through. And I put the links down there if people are interested in learning about this, right? But that's part of the reason that we're here is because we want to be very efficient with what we're doing, right? So there's other people you can chat with there too, right?
Yeah, 100%. This is chatsprinkle.com. And this is, if all you're interested in is talking to the Victoria AI, which is a great idea, you can go directly to chatsprinkle.com. You already have the link in the description of your video, Doug, but just click on Victoria right there, chat now. And from right there, let's just see, am I logged in?
If anybody else out there, Seth, has a chat AI, I will link it, okay? I want people to chat with your AI bot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, make some friends.
Yeah, right. That makes perfect sense to me too. Now I'm just going to copy over to this. This is in a conversation that I already had with Victoria's AI, and I asked Victoria's AI, "Hey there, Victoria AI or AI Victoria. I'm currently interviewing your real life counterpart as part of a video podcast, and I'd love to surprise her with some questions and words of encouragement from you. What would you say to the real life version of Victoria?" And it responded. I think, Doug, you gut check me here, but this is pretty true to the person that we talked to on Twitter, right? The response here.
Maybe we should do this. Hold on a second. Hold on. I have a better idea than this. Okay,
you should ask
Victoria's here right now. Victoria.
Ask a question to the AI and to her, and put the two question answers together.
Let's ask Victoria a question first, and then ask the chat AI. Yeah, see,
I like that.
Stache,
I like that.
Stache likes this. Okay, Stache supports this. All right. And if you have any other investigative questions you want to ask anybody, Stache, whatever, we're gonna do it. All right. So
and I didn't dare do anything that was investigated because that's like totally
Right.
Stache's territory. He would have been like,
actually let
elementary
you-
Watson, nice try.
this was my whole plan. Stache, how about let's have you ask her a
Because
question
the
or
responses
two.
I've already seen, they look a little generic.
Okay,
They look,
let's have
I
you
feel
ask
like she's
her a
got
new
more
question.
inside there than what when they extract it out.
There's few people I trust with investigative reporting, Stache, and like you're here because I mean, like who would ever second guess the Stache agency, right? I mean, come on. Okay, Stache. So what would you ask Victoria?
Whoa, Doug, have we seen any credentials first before we just start like approving someone's investigatory?
I saw a logo, and I'm
logo,
in the
good.
Discord,
If you got a
and
logo, you're good.
I'm pretty sure that Jay Chains is one of like on the board of directors or something, or he's part of some
Board of
secret
directors.
board.
Yes,
Trust
he is part. J Chains, why you gotta sell us out, man? You're on the board. You're on the board here.
This is what I'm saying. Like, go investigate these guys yourself. So don't take my word for it. All right. This is my own opinion. All right.
Mhm.
Look at me. I have an opinion. Okay. Stache, what question would you have for Victoria if you just like had met her and you're interested in like, any question really, any at all, you can ask her.
All right, here's what I would ask her, and then we'll see how she does, and then how the AI bot does. All right, is glitter amazing or is it bad for the environment?
It's a really good question, Stache.
I
I'm
know
actually
she knows
really
this.
impressed.
Come on, let's hear it,
hard-hitting
Victoria. What do you
question
think? Is it
here.
amazing? It's just you love it, and we couldn't live without it, or is it bad for the environment?
Well, I personally love glitter, but it depends what you like, and you shouldn't use that much of a glitter. Or if you use it, then put it in the trash and don't leave it on the street because then it's not good for the environment.
That's tough though.
Have you ever tried to put glitter from one location to the next? It literally.
Wait, hold on. You're going too far down the rabbit hole. You asked one question, she gave him a response, and the AI has already spoken.
All right. Let's see what the AI says. Let's ask the AI. Type it in.
Yeah, and Victoria, it's because I don't have the premium membership. I know I'm a heel. I didn't pay for it yet. Do you mind reading the response here so we hear your voice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Glitter, my dear. It sparkles like 1,000 stars in the night sky. But alas, it comes. Alas, I'm German, by the way. As you can guess, it comes with a catch. While it may steal hearts with its enchanting beauty, it can be quite naughty for our precious environment. The tiny particles of the glitter, like mischievous, I would not use that word though. Mischievous fairies. Fairies often find their way into our oceans. Oh wow, harming marine life. So as beautiful as it may be, let's treat lightly and look for eco-friendly alternatives that can bring that magical twinkle in a sustainable way. Fair enough. Oh wow, her answer is way better.
That's what I'm saying. It's not you.
So
It's not
deep.
you.
I liked
It is
your
not
answer
you.
better.
That was the most generic Chat GPT response if I've ever seen one. I mean,
That was
literally
pretty
just like no
eloquent,
opinion.
Yeah,
Really?
but it threw in $5 words that Victoria herself felt like, not comfortable repeating.
Yeah.
It's true. Okay,
I like
so far
Victoria's answer better, but it was well spoken. I think
That's true.
if you didn't
I
have
did agree
access
with
to
her answer though. The answer was the same, but it was said in a more eloquent, speech type way, right?
no, basically it
It's
said it's a very
beautiful,
nice
but
thing,
it
but it's not
shouldn't
good for
harm
the
the
environment.
Okay, Crypto Stache is on the fence right now. He's like, kind of, right? Like he's
I don't feel like that response represents you well.
okay.
That's how I feel.
Let's ask another question. Let's have Jay Chains ask a question now to Victoria. This is tough, Victoria. You're on like the front line, cutting edge of AI. We're just like taking a magnifying glass to AI right now. But this is the thing. We're about the realness here. We might be influencers, but we're gonna tell you the real truths here, okay?
And the good thing is, it seems like AI is getting more intelligent than me. So, and it's good. We can it's like, okay, maybe we have to put it down a little bit, do some German accent in it and say I don't know this word, so we
some
change
German
it a little
things
bit,
in there, right?
Yeah,
That we can improve upon AI, which is great. And then we can also, after we discuss this, we can see what are the applications for this that it would be useful for, right? Okay, Jay Chains, what is your question for Victoria?
Victoria, my question to you would be is if one of your fans approached you and wanted to know how to get their start in modeling, what would be your response to them?
First of all, it's amazing that you want to step into that. But yeah, you should start like easy, like maybe do like a photo shoot with a friend or with someone like that you trust and see how you feel in front of the camera. And then when you feel good about it and you want to do it like more professional, maybe like pay a photographer or like depends how old the person is, right? If like the person who approaches me is 16, I'm like, okay, ask your mom or your dad to come with you to like a photo shoot, do a professional photo shoot, and then use these photos to apply for a modeling agency.
Cool.
Let's see what AI is saying.
All right,
let's
go back to AI. Are you, Victoria? Have you ever been under this much pressure before? You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
you're in the spotlight. We're this is like an interrogation on the microscope. Okay, can you please read back this? Look at this response, Victoria.
Oh, darling.
This is the this is horrible. Her response is way better than this. I'm sorry. No, not so.
Oh, darling, to embark on the enchanting journey of modeling, immerse yourself in glamorous fashion shows, size opportunities at local photo shoots, I said that, and embrace the allure of auditions, but always with a twinkle in your eye and a graceful sway of your hips.
Wait, say the last part. Say the last part.
And a graceful sway of your hips. Aim high, meine Liebe, and let your natural beauty shine. Now the German comes out because I had to read German here.
What does that mean?
Put German in there.
Yes. Meine Liebe means my love.
Okay.
Yeah, did you like
I also speak German. No, I don't. A little bit.
Did you like this better, Stache? It did put German in there, right? And it's like, you know, it did say
it still doesn't sound like her. Okay, wait, her response was 10 times better than this. It was actually, I felt helpful. This just seems generic. Like, go immerse yourself in glamorous fashion shows and photo shoots and embrace the allure of auditions. Like,
okay, but put yourself in, and while maybe it does seem more generic or watered down, you have to put yourself in the position of not everybody's going to have access to Victoria and the AI at the same exact time like we are. So we're a little privileged group. Would this suffice as an answer to you if you didn't have the opportunity to talk to or hear it directly from Victoria?
It just seems generic. It doesn't really seem like it gave a lot of great insight. Like her response was start simple and do a free photo, like do just a photo shoot with your friends so you feel more comfortable. Like I felt like her response actually was a great response.
It was more
detailed.
Generic. Right. So it's more detailed. Those responses is not completely different. It does say start with local photo shoot opportunities, right? So like they're in a ballpark, but like your real life responses are a little bit more attuned, right? Because you have like a million neurons in your brain, right? And this is just an AI computer, right?
Can I throw out a potential test we can do here for Lena?
Yeah,
if you're going to pass the ball to Lena, maybe what we do is we do the double blind, right? So now for the next one, we ask the AI first, right? And then we evaluate the AI's response first before we ask Victoria. And Victoria has to just on her system, plug her ears or
you have to turn off your mic or something, right? Yeah.
So that she doesn't get coached by the AI. Maybe.
Also, I'm not listening. I just step away for a second.
Okay, sure.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was like, otherwise she's going to be influenced if you can see it.
Wait, I'm going to have to turn off my sound so I don't
turn off a minute.
Like, don't drink any wine.
Don't drink. She's so great. She's out traveling around and she was like, Doug, I have so many meetings and so many photo shoots. Can we move the show? And I'm like, no, we can't. We have a million Americans waiting to hear your answers. And then she's like, okay, I'll just change my whole schedule. Lena, okay, your mic's off right now. How are you feeling so far about how this is going? And what would be your question for Victoria? She's back now. Victoria, can you hear
us? Am I allowed to be back?
No. We haven't done it yet.
Wait, hang on. I just closed my ears. No, I'm going to turn it off. Are you going to
turn off the volume? And when we're ready for you, I'll wave at you. I'll give you like a signal.
Yes, that would be great. Okay.
Okay, Lena. Now she's closed her ears. What is your question for the AI clone of Victoria?
So this is more a subjective question versus an objective question. What is your favorite restaurant in New York?
Ooh. Oh, that's really particular. That's very good. Okay, let's see, Seth, what it says. Let's put this up here.
No.
Sign up, Seth, for your own. He's
a consultant. You want AI goodness? You got to pay.
The number one consultant in Web3. All right. What's your favorite restaurant? Oh, it's typing. All right. So we can see it takes like, 20 seconds or so probably for some of the answers because it's.
No, I think that's just how the front end works. I think it says it's typing when it gives you the bad news message. So I'm going to
restart it.
Create account. Nope, totally blocked out. Gosh darn it. Okay, yeah, I don't have an account for this. I have an account for So.mee, and I've used all my credits over there. So what we could do instead is I can send this link over to our panelists, and somebody else can grab the baton.
Oh, so we're going to have somebody else do it. Okay. Hold on. Maybe I can do it. Let's see. Where's my little link here to the chat? Here we go. Bring this up here real quick.
I got J-Chain's conducting a private investigation. He's like, so is it a good idea for me to start painting my toenails? Would I get better?
Can I listen again?
So feedback.
Not yet. Sorry, we had a technical glitch. We still please give us just 30 more seconds.
Oh, okay, I turn you off again.
She's got a wonderful personality. We should have more of this fun personality in the world, right? Something like that. Okay. So here I'm sharing now. I'm going to say, what was it? What is your favorite restaurant in New York?
Maybe New York City.
I was going to say that was the one thing I was going to say is you should definitely put city in there.
All right, that's great.
It's a big difference.
That's true. Yeah, it'll give you results from like BFE Albany.
All right.
Buffalo's original wing place.
Liebling. Oh my goodness, there's German in there again. In the city that never sleeps, there are so many delightful dining options that capture my heart. But if I had to choose, there's a charming little bistro called Le Petit Chat Noir, nestled in the heart of Greenwich Village. I mean, that sounds pretty good. The dimly lit ambiance, soft jazz music, and delectable French cuisine create an enchanting experience that simply sweeps me off my feet. It's a perfect spot for a romantic evening with someone special. Darling, have you been there before? Now,
if she gets this is going to be amazing.
This is going to be pretty.
All right. Let's go back. You gotta. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we're ready for you. She's looking away right now. She's probably thinking about that restaurant right now. Okay, we're good. We're good to go. All right.
Can I come back?
Here.
Okay.
All right. I just pretended to be you for a minute and told the darlings about the restaurant. Okay. So now the question is, what is your favorite restaurant in New York City? That's the question we asked ChatGPT. So, have you been to New York? Do you have a favorite restaurant there?
I've been to New York, but I don't have a favorite restaurant.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well, apparently your AI version does.
Your AI version definitely has a very refined taste.
Your AI version.
Wait, what would I say?
Bullshit is what it's doing.
Nobu. Is there Nobu in New York?
There's no
Nobu.
There's Nobu.
Nobu. Or Soho.
Nobu and Soho. Okay, so let's bring up the answer that ChatGPT gave. Let's see what the answer is, okay? So the answer that you gave, Liebling, in the city that never sleeps, there are so many delightful dining options that capture my heart. But if I had to choose, there's a charming little bistro called Le Petit Chat Noir, nestled in Greenwich Village. So you gave this like eloquent response of a little restaurant that's very romantic in Greenwich Village. So it must have just figured out through your personality what you would have liked. Now, you could use this for yourself to be like, maybe if I go to New York, I'm going to have to go to this restaurant because my AI bot says it's my favorite restaurant, right?
I like it that they play jazz music. I actually like jazz music and I like French cuisine. So that actually makes sense.
So it's very useful for yourself for sure. Crypto, so AI is useful maybe for yourself.
Yes, it is.
Maybe we could test it on. We need a Stache AI to test what's his favorite whiskey.
Well, you don't want to put me in AI. That's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. Like,
good.
What's Stache's favorite whiskey AI?
I don't know that. The thing is, AI just does not do a very good job of capturing one's personality. It's great at disseminating information and being able to consolidate information down. I think when you talk about how to use it in an everyday type of thing or how to use it in a situation like this, as long as you're okay with a generic response, which I think that works in a lot of situations, then it works great. When you talk about anything that has any kind of personality, right now it's just complete shit.
Okay, so Stache, you're at like a 0 out of 10 for personality. I think that the personality in it, considering
0 to 10, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna give.
It's just fake. It's just like that's not an actual. It's like it's not her actual personality. It's a personality.
It's a combination of her personality with like AI together, right? It's kind of like some kind of percentage. I think there's like 40% Victoria in there at least, like depending on like the response it gave actually did talk about jazz, right, and all this stuff and things that she likes, right? So it imagine in real life if you actually took a DNA clone of yourself. Like right now, I looked it up, and according to Forbes, it's like $1.7 million if you wanted to pay to have like an actual clone of yourself if it was legal or whatever, right?
That's it.
DNA, yeah,
That's cheap.
yeah,
1.4,
right?
only $1.5 million. That's like nothing. But like, can they grow to the exact same size that you are now? Like, I want it to be exactly me, not like the little tiny baby version of me.
Okay,
like,
but
oh,
this is my point of this though, is that if you did that and you had a clone of yourself, and compare that clone to this AI bot clone, maybe that clone of yourself would also be that much different from you, right? You know what I mean? It wouldn't be exactly you. You know what I'm saying? So the AI bot or the AI versions of yourself
genetically be you. That's
it would genetically be you,
like,
but
yeah,
it
it's
wouldn't
just like
exactly
it's just like identical twins that were separated at birth. One's raised here, another's raised over here, and they have some similarities, but a lot of differences because of the experiences are different, right?
It would probably take the identical person up until that moment where you created your clone, right? And that would at that moment that clone is inceptionized into like reality, that's when you stop becoming the same, because then you have different experiences from that point. But leading up to it, the creation, it's taking you to create that.
They literally have a show. Have you not seen the show that does that?
No.
It's called Living with Yourself. I think it's on Netflix. It's with Paul Rudd. And it literally is exactly that. Like he's like, his life is kind of like meh. And then he goes into like this place that clones him, and he doesn't know that they clone him. And then it's crazy. I'm not going to like spoil it, but it's the exact same thing. It's great. It's weird. They took things out of him to like make him better. They genetically modified him as they cloned him, and like it's like the better version of him. And then like he goes and like seduces his wife, and it's crazy, man. But yeah, it's very similar.
It's really cool. Lena, can you hear me? Your mic's off right now. What's your estimated, like, when you see this AI experience, like how much do you think it's like similar to like really talking to Victoria in real life?
I feel like it's not spot on, but for a first shot, it's pretty good.
This is the beginning of AI. Like, this is the first show that's had an AI person on, okay? Victoria Jancke and her AI chatbot. Like, this is the beginnings, right? You know what I mean? It's not going to be perfect. But, like, if I had never met you, Victoria, and I went to your website and I interacted with your chatbot, it would give me a decent idea, I think, of, like, what your personality is kind of like. And but the thing is, like, what is the utility here? What can this be used for, right? That's the next part of this whole thing. What can this be used for? Seth, what do you think are the good implementations now that we've kind of analyzed what this chatbot does? Also, there's the physical versions of it where you can make, like, models of yourself, that can be used as avatars or whatever online that look like you, Victoria. I know you have some images and stuff on your site where there are images of you and you're talking with your AI, right, Victoria? Yeah. So, Seth, where do you think this is like a good utility for this?
There's a couple of different applications that I think that work really well with this type of AI. And I think one of them is like what Victoria is doing, like as it becomes refined, because here's the thing, there's not like some like permanent cap on the amount of training that can be done to the model that represents Victoria right now. 6 months from now, Victoria can retrain it. It can be retrained on any public media, including this interview right now, in real time even. So it can be refining itself over time. And I think that getting in as early as possible to try to train that AI, Victoria is going to benefit more than a lot of her peers in the modeling and in the influencer space. So I think that what the application that she's already pursuing is a really good one. There are other applications, though, where if you take personality out of it and you take personal taste out of it and you just keep some objective data sets that you need to query. I've been saying this for a few years, though, and people have been really upset because it's coming to fruition now. But paralegals in particular, not attorneys, where you have to like rely on an attorney's opinion for case law, but paralegals who are drafting up contracts, people who are reviewing anything where they need to have like instant recall of a bunch of legal material and a bunch of legal precedent. People who do paralegal work are basically going to be completely dependent on AI like this, if they're not already in the next several months, and a lot of developers too. I've got two brothers who are full stack developers, and they've just been telling me like, oh yeah, this is a reality. If you're a senior developer, in order to make sure that you don't get, hit the chopping block and become a junior developer, you have to use AI in order to stay competitive and do your earliest testing So that's what I'm going to say is the journeyman level of most knowledge work is about to disappear. Just like how the last economic downturn destroyed the middle class financially, this wave of AI is going to destroy the middle class of knowledge workers, unfortunately.
Okay, let's ask Chris.
Trained
Chris, if you're still
professionals,
here, I'm sorry, who's talking? Okay, sorry. Chris, if you're still here, do you want to maybe chime in because like your project So.mee is doing this? What do you think are the applications for this for people like anybody in the room here? Like we're all doing stuff where we're visible in media in some way, right? We have projects and we have our own brand. Like what utility can we get out of this? I can't hear you, Chris. Is your mic on? Can you guys hear him? No. Okay, Chris. I can't hear you right now. Okay, J-Chains, what do you think?
Test.
Oh, there he is.
Test.
There he
Okay,
is.
weird. Yeah, but I was trying to talk earlier, and I've had some issues with my system today. But no, I think there's a lot of applications that really can be leveraged with AI. We're going to continue to do the clones, of course, but I think business consultants. I think that if you have marketing, if you have, you can have AI crawl your entire site and provide answers to FAQs. So I think there's a lot of different practical applications. And as far as the Victoria AI goes, I was trying to chime in a couple of times during the call, but I guess my mic looked like it was on, but it wasn't. But I think just like Seth had said, through consistent and training that's ongoing, we can refine and continually make the AI more and more. It's not going to happen overnight. Like, with just a few months of training in AI for Victoria and doing towards launch, what it could be in the next 6 months to a year could be completely night and day and enhanced in many ways. So that's what we were saying about the ongoing training. But I think that there's a lot of applications that can be used for anywhere from marketing to support to, everything in between.
Yeah, I know people are already using this and saying, I don't know if this is counts for you guys, but a lot of people I see online are saying, hey, they're actually making money off their AI, right? Because it's doing something for them. Some of them might be using it to create content, like on social media or something, right? Or do something else. So Victoria and Chris, like, what is your experience? Are you making an income off of this already? Like that it started up?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting started. So, I know that there's been there was an influencer who launched an AI that did 70,000 the first week in revenue as the Karen AI. We've modeled in a way Victoria after that, but not really. There are some differences, but I think that you'll see over time that people want to interact with Victoria. They're going to be paying the fee. So right now, there's been some revenue generated. I can't really disclose how much that's been yet, but I think over time you're gonna see that more and more that this is going to be a revenue generating activity for people like Victoria and other influencers and models and actors and all of the above.
A lot of this is about automation, right? I've seen people online claim that they've made so much money, like tens and tens of thousands of dollars off their AI, implementation already, making it diverse themselves or doing something that's efficient for their business, which is really interesting to me because there's so much stuff I do during the day that I wish I could automate or have AI do for me or something, right? Because the thing that I've read in there's a lot of articles in Forbes about this, about people that are really interested in AI are saying this is going to actually give the lower middle class and middle class a big boost. There's quotes in Forbes from different people saying that this is going to allow somebody that didn't have the resources before to now have the resources to have their own media department or this and that, right? And to be able to compete with somebody that has usually more resources and capital than they do, right? Lena, we haven't heard from you in a bit. Do you think that this is something that you might use in the future? Do you think it could be a valuable resource?
I mean, from a chatbot perspective, we're increasingly seeing that across a variety of different mediums for businesses of all sizes. I think the future is obviously creator based. It revolves around influencers and obviously models, Hollywood stars, and so forth. And I think this is obviously closing the gap between a lot of different creators around the world and creating, firsthand experiences as one of the other guests said, like, the LLMs are going to get stronger with time. And, a year from now, it's going to be completely different than this very first conversation we had with it today. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for sure. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. I'm actually releasing a entrepreneur article about will AI models replace fashion IRL models very soon. So more to come on that. And yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen some really cool stuff. I think it's Aaron Blaise is his name, a Disney cartoonist. A lot of the famous Disney cartoonists have said that, hey, we're kind of the market where people are worried about cartoonists or artists getting their job taken, stuff like that. And he said, in fact, that he's really excited about what's happening. He thinks it's going to make everything better. He said, when we started using CGI in Beauty and the Beast, you wouldn't think it's CGI. You'd think it's all hand-drawn. They started using CGI in there, which is a form of artificial implementation. And he said once they started doing that, their budgets doubled because they're able to do better stuff, be more efficient. Anything they can do to be more efficient, they're going to do. So one of the people that's probably the biggest target for AI to take their job is saying that actually it's the opposite. AI is fantastic. And it's going to open up a whole new world of stuff for us. And we'll just make some adjustments, but you have to embrace it, right? So I thought that was really cool because you saw right away when AI came out that all these creatives, writers, artists, physical artists, drawing, all that stuff started freaking out. And, we see right now there's strikes in LA and Hollywood, which I completely support that personally because the thing is what they need to do is they need to figure out a structure for their contracts so people can be paid appropriately and the internet and everything, right? They do need that because otherwise, Hollywood is just a complete mess. I've worked in it before, so I support them 100%. But like Crypto Stache, like you said, we're going to have to adapt. You can't just get rid of AI. It's going to be part of what you do. It's going to be part of a thing. And I think it's just going to be a really great time, personally, Jay Chains. I think Jay Chains is in the camp, Jay Chains, where you're just going to be grilling and AI is going to be working for you in the background, right? And you're just going to be chilling and your life is going to for
I disagree. Dissent. I disagree. And here's why.
Yeah.
I disagree because here, for as much as I would love to just literally all day, just hang with Jay Chains in the backyard and just grow. Legit, that is my heart's desire, is to do nothing else with my time. My concern is these are economies of scale, right? So it's the question of how do you grow the middle class? How do you grow a quality of life based on output, right? Value output, and then GDP that can move back to the contributors. And you figure if an AI can do that so easily, if it's really that easy and it's really that easy at scale, we're going to have economic disruption. And I'm not going to say problems. There'll be opportunities too, like you pointed out. There'll be opportunities for the people who are early adopters, who get very regimented and very disciplined about how they use it, who figure out how to extract value from a market by using these tools. But it will be a zero-sum game. The economy will not grow as a result of AI moving into it as a value creation tool. The economy, the total pie, will grow at the speed at which value is honored by a market, and your slice of that pie will always grow based on your ability to just capitalize, right, and take advantage of certain tools that you can use to your benefit. Not everybody will figure it out, so not everybody's slice of the pie will grow, but AI itself will not grow the overall pie itself, if that makes sense. So there will be those megaliths, right?
Unless
there will be those.
VC.
Yeah, exactly. The VCs, that's just it, right? The VCs who taught these the OpenAI language models right now, the LLMs, why do they respond in the ways that they respond? Because OpenAI taught it, and the VCs told them, look, you better tell it to give these responses, and you better fly the woke flag, or else we're pulling our funding. This rabbit hole goes pretty deep, and I can see Lena kind of this is complex, and I get paid to write about this, which I agree with. That's my whole point. Is that so? To give a little horror story, I write for Crypto Magazine, right? And as a lead writer for Crypto Magazine, they don't even know how many of my articles have been contributed to with AI and how many are purely my own writings. And I'm never going to tell them right now. It's not in my interest to ever tell them. But we've got a problem when AI becomes as good a domain level expert as I am 6 to 18 months from now, and they don't need me to write anymore. So it's not going to be this perfect like rising tide using AI. In some cases, there will be casualties, and there will be
not some cases, 100%, 100%.
Right.
Automation in conjunction with AI is I mean, automation we've already seen do a pretty good job of decimating a lot of different industries, and then you combine automation with AI, and you think about how many people are going to be absolutely useless in this world. I mean, humans that literally just can't. They have no use, and they don't know what to do. It's rising at an alarming rate already right now. And so then you talk about where we're at the level of AI that's somewhat publicly available to almost everybody. Then when you talk about 2 years from now or 5 years from now, how much that's going to be proliferated across every industry, there will be thousands and hundreds of thousands of jobs gone for sure. There was already a guy that I mean, maybe he caught a lot of flack, but a CEO from India for this company called Dukan, and he laid off 90% of his customer service staff and replace them with a chatbot, like an AI-enabled one. Right. We've had chatbots forever. They're not that good, but the AI-enabled ones, 90% of the people he's fired because this bot does it can close tickets in a fraction of the amount of time that a human can do, and they can do it all at once. It's simultaneous.
Well, they might be even better
every request
because when you call
so all those jobs are gone. They're not coming back.
Well, a lot of those jobs, though, are in like places like China, India, and you have personally like, hey, my name's Joe Armstrong, and they can barely speak English. They don't really know how to actually help you.
But what about them? Right? I get that. And it's not that I'm not saying they don't suck at their job. They probably did.
Yeah.
But what happens to this massive demographic of people who have these types of jobs? What are they going to do now?
Yeah, and I think, but the thing is, like this chart or whatever it is, like this progression we've had in society has been happening already. Things have been already being like. There's even a big South Park article about it where all the rednecks are mad because like they can't get a job or something, and they decide to use an iPhone and become I don't know, whatever they do. But the idea is you have to adapt with society, and now it's just happening at a more accelerated rate.
But you don't understand. Like this, for something like saying adapt with society is something we've always done as humans, and that's the reason why we're here today. We do a really good job at adapting as humans. It's part of what's one of our largest strengths. But something like this that's happening so quick,
fast,
in the blink of an eye. Millions will not be able to adapt that quickly. Humans, we adapt, but it takes time. It's like, how long did it take for us to get to irrigation and farming? I mean, what I'm saying? It takes time to adapt. Humans, whereas, we can adapt over a certain amount of time fairly well, not in short amounts of time. And that's what concerns me the most, is that there are going to be millions of people who cannot adapt to this, and they literally have nothing to do because ChatGPT or other AIs have taken over these lower level jobs that are the mainstay for most people who have jobs in the world. And not just low level too. I mean, we're talking about higher level too stuff like we talked about before, like professionals that do things like senior level devs. When you can just be like, hey, ChatGPT, make me an app that searches the supermarket for all the foods that have quinoa in it, and boom, it's done in like 10 minutes, and you can just walk it through there, and then you launch it and you make a bunch of money. That's the idea. Everyone thinks it's going to happen, but I mean, how many people are now put out of work because of that?
Can I say something?
Please
but
do.
the thing is, so AI still needs to be guided, right? So like the same with ChatGPT, you're more like a director. So you ask the question and it's giving you an answer, but you're still directing where it's going and you're putting it together. So AI is just a help in our normal life. And I'm sorry for the people who lost their job, but there will be also new jobs coming, because it's not going to function without us. And what we also need in society, what AI cannot give us, is the personal connection. So I believe that like personal growth and like the personal connection jobs, or how you call it, getting are more and more important, especially now what we saw with social media, COVID. Like, what are we craving? It's the human connection, and AI cannot give us that, right? So that will be for everyone who's looking for a new job, literally go on the personal growth industry, because that's something that I feel like, especially now with AI, we're going to crave even more. So there will be new job opportunities. We just have to, think a little bit out of the box, and instead of focusing on the negative, focus on the positive. So like, we're humans, we're not going to disappear. And like, there was always work, we have an inflation now, we had inflations before, and we made it out of there. So just like think a little bit different and like look at the bigger picture. And AI is not going to function without us. Never.
I disagree. I honestly
exactly right.
look. There can only be so many people in a personal growth industry. It's just like trying to say everyone can have the American dream, which they can't, because it's bullshit. Like,
so here, in my opinion, and in Victoria's defense, that's why I opened by saying Victoria is the smartest person in the room, because she's taking the pole position in training in AI. Right, all of us are already behind her in terms of the line of people who can succeed because through our inaction.
No, and I get that, but what I'm saying is that what happens when everybody does that? There's no value there. And when you're saying that's what everyone has to do. You have to work the personality side. So any place where you need an actual personality, someone who you're going to interface with in a personal level, that's the industry you should be moving to. But you say, but what industry is that actually, where a lot of that's still not going to be, replaced by AI? Because right now, you're right. You have to direct it right now in its very first iteration. But what about when AIs are directing AIs? I mean, like there's some next level shit that's coming for sure. And you talk about like, okay, well, now you only need one person to do it, whereas before you needed a team of 100 to complete this task. Now you're saying those other 99 need to just go out and find some other situation where they can have a job where they absolutely have to be a person there to complete that job. Or they're going to be the other dude that's the one person pressing the button for ChatGPT, but you just don't need that many of those. That's what I'm trying to say. Is you can say, oh, you can be the general, and that's all you got to do is be the guy who is running the ChatGPT, the AI in the background, because we need that person. But we need way less of those people if that has replaced 100 people on your team using that same function.
Facts. So I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. But what I wanted to add to that, just really, really briefly, is that the other issue that we have right now in terms of a race to coming to market is that because some of us are extremely public with our media. Now, Victoria is training this AI in her personality, which is something, and in her personal responses, her interview ability, and she does do public appearances, of course, but not as frequently as some of us do. Right? We're desk jockeys, right? We're on the mic a lot. There's a huge public sampling of our conversations. So while Victoria has done a lot of modeling and a lot of acting, she hasn't done as much just like brain dumping, right, publicly the way that we do. I mean, there's no secret about what our thoughts and opinions are. J-Chains, Stache, yourself, and then with Doug Hype and me, we're very public, talking about for a couple of hours every single day, public media. We're publishing media about our thoughts, our values, our opinions. And so any third party can go through and scrape all this info. And if they're enterprising enough, without having a lot of regulatory clarity about this and an intellectual property law, they can go ahead and they can come to market with an AI of us first, right? They can make the AI Stache without your permission. They can launch it for a couple of weeks. It's kind of like these illegitimate token sales and illegitimate NFT sales, right? Where they're IP vultures.
Meme coins.
Yeah, right. And they'll go and they'll pick off like Disney. Like it's insane, right? If you know Disney, right, you would never do this, right? But they go and like grab like Disney or Marvel IP and they go launch a token or an NFT, and it's like, dude, you are gonna be like they're not gonna be able to find your body once Disney gets to you, right? Like seriously, you're done. Because the way they rule with an iron fist over their intellectual property. But with us, right, where it's like, no, we're kind of these niche. We have like a degree of micro celebrity where somebody could come in and be like, you know what? I'm going to scrape everything that J-Chains has ever said for the last 5 years publicly, and I'm going to go feed a learning language model privately. Nobody will know, and then I'll launch a chat service, and I'm just going to call it generic crypto influencer.
You'd probably learn a ton of shit from that dude. That dude would be so fucking smart. It'd be great
and handsome. He could grill your
out.
Definitely.
When you look at the music industry, right? Like a few months ago, you had that ghostwriter who created that TikTok account in lieu of Drake's songs, and he took it to court, got the account deleted, and so forth. And it became this huge debate across the industry. And now we're seeing other artists like Grimes, Peter Gabriel, and a variety of others come to market and say, hey, instead of you not like trying to argue against this, let's utilize it and create sounds with my IP and so forth. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there, even with the new Beatles song that has yet to be released. There's a lot of opportunity across the board. It's a matter of, okay, how will the the traditional creators really manifest this into the future, and how will they continue to monetize their IP value and so forth into the future?
That's great. Creators are in a great position. I mean, when you talk about when Victoria was saying like, here's the advice, like, yeah, everyone really should be moving to being a creator in that kind of sense, because you have way more opportunities that you can springboard off of that because of that personal connection, utilizing AI to help you do more in that. All I'm saying is it's hard to say then everyone needs to be a creator. If everyone's a creator, then who's watching?
Well, that's the thing too, is that like part of society, and the reason I made that video out on the boat and stuff is that a huge amount of society, especially the older people in society, are going to want personal connections so much. In fact, it might drive people, things come in waves. It might be this thing where like, oh, we have this amazing AI, and then it'll swing back around and people will be like, AI is all right, but I need personal connections so bad. It made me realize that, you know what I mean? So I think that like at the end of the day, it'll end up balancing itself out, because it's the same thing. Like the 80s and 90s are back, and then they're even back even harder, because they're like, remember when we really cared about music this way, right? Stache just made a video about vintage Game Boy games today, right? And I'm in your chat, like in your comments being like, I love Game Boy, blah, 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 whatever. Like, yeah, the retro stuff, right? So and retro stuff is huge now, like collecting retro games and stuff like that, right? Going back to this older time, whereas like 10 years ago, people would be like, I don't even care. I want to do the new cool stuff. So things come in waves and they come back around. So I can definitely see AI jumping out and being really cool, but people being like, it's not my favorite. Like even today here, like half the crowd's like, oh my God, this AI that we interact with is so great. And then half's like, I don't really like it that much. You know what I mean? So like there's always going to be, I think things are always going to gravitate towards personal connection no matter what, right? And that's why we're saying being new or being early and being a personality is really powerful, because it accentuates that. You can connect to people, have a real discussion. Like the people that I try to invite to this show, and you guys especially, are the type of people that really have a discussion about stuff. We're not afraid to say what we really think. And you can then learn about someone and be their buddy and have jokes and have fun and like be actually like a real connection and a real friend. That's really rare to find on like Twitter, right? If you just go into Twitter, everyone's just yelling at each other, right? Like none of those people are like really friends. They might gaslight you and be like, yeah, bro, this person did this yesterday and they're the coolest person ever. It's like, they're not calling each other on the phone and talking about like, let's have a cookout. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. But me and J Chains might though. So,
dang right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like we might do that. But, and the other day, Stache, remember when I was talking about spritzers and you're like, J-Chains, that's my buddy Doug. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, yeah, I want to hang out with these guys. Like all these people, Seth. I almost went to 3XP just because of Seth. I called him. He's like, you should come. He's like, I'll do this. We'll get up on stage and do things. And I didn't end up going. But anyways,
came, yeah.
I know, right? Once I saw Crypto Stache's videos, I was all like, ugh. Like, you know what I mean? So,
dude, I tried to convince you on the drive, right?
He was driving there trying to convince me.
We talked.
How was 3XP?
It was awesome. We had a lot of fun. Like it was, when you see like a niche industry kind of connect, going back to kind of the personal side of stuff, connecting with people in person inside of an industry where everything is very much internet based, right? You're talking about cryptocurrency and gaming. It's very much an internet based thing. But connecting with those people in person, the connections are 1,000 times stronger. So, yeah. I mean, I love the idea of, obviously, that personal connection is never going to be replaced by AI. It's just, it comes down to like, there's still complications with, how many industries are going to be impacted like that don't have that need for a true personal connection. Like the example I gave you with like the customer service people, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I want to talk to a person on the phone. I got a problem with my damn iPhone. I want to talk to a real person. Nope, you're going to talk to an AI chatbot, and they'll do better anyways because they'll be more polite. They'll have way more knowledge, and you don't really need a personal connection. You just need someone that can speak freaking English or whatever your language is, and they'll do it perfectly, right? But all those people that used to have those jobs, they're going to be having trouble with finding something else new,
Well,
as far as the customer service. Oh, I'm sorry, Victoria. Please go ahead.
But it's like, you know, when the iPhone came out or the computer, people were like, oh, I'm never going to use it. And then everyone is using it. And it became like part of our daily lives. And we found a way to like, you know, we're writing emails, but we still have the post mail. You know, it's like, it's not like gone or something. So it's just like a change. And actually what you said, I remember, I just want to share something quick. I went to the doctor the one day to get an MRI, nothing bad, all good. And I remember like there was a lady sitting and she went there with her little child. And so there was, I heard what they were talking about. And she was like, yeah, I talk with your AI and I ask if you have like a babysitter when I come there. And I said, yeah, bring your little child. We have a babysitter when you come and get an MRI. And like the nurses were like, no, we don't have that. We don't know why the AI said this. And then literally one of the nurses came out, but okay, we want to help you. You're obviously having your appointment and you brought your child here, what normally people don't do. So she literally like took the baby and went for a walk with the baby while the mom was going in to get an MRI. So like literally AI created a human connection because now something happened that would have normally not happened. Like the mom would have to look for a babysitter and stuff like that. Now she literally could bring her child there and the nurse was looking after the child and everyone just laughing about it, the doctors and everything, and everyone had a great time. So I feel like actually like these kind of things is like also can bring people even more together. And like we said, like we're going to crave more the human connection. We already do with social media, right? That's why like so many influencers or like young people get like really depressed because of social media, because they always think like, oh, I have to look like a supermodel. But also I don't always look like this. I'm really blessed, but I also have like shitty days and stuff like this, and we're all beautiful in a way, right? So I feel like the human connection is becoming more and more important. That's why and so I actually feel like AI is actually going to push us even more together, and that we're just going to use it like the laptop, like the iPhone and stuff like that. The car, the bicycle. Look in the history. We're always like we're always so afraid, and then we use it for us.
See, everyone comes into this.
Everybody wants to compare it to a bicycle. Everybody wants to compare it to say like using CGI for films. I went to the school, by the way, that actually rendered Beauty and the Beast and the ballroom scene, and I know the people who actually put together those systems. They're all dead now, but I got to talk to them before they died. It's not the same. It isn't the same.
It's not.
So imagine Victoria, that the bicycle that you used, that it's that we're not concerned about the invention of the bicycle. We're concerned about a self-driving bicycle that does all the tasks that you would want to do on the bicycle, not the bicycle itself.
Hey, did you see in the video we were talking about having sex in the car while it's driving? Okay, I put that on there on purpose because like we might think in this narrow mindset of like, okay, AI is just going to take over. But the question is like, is AI really going to affect our life like to really that much? And the people I just randomly interviewed were all like, hell no, it ain't. Like, I'm going to live my life. And if there's cool stuff that it does, I'm going to do it. Right. But those also are people that are like very they're like very go-getters. They're very much, I'm living my life and I'm going to go get what I want. And whatever's happening is cool, but whatever, bro, I'm going to have fun. Like when I asked Jess, I asked her, I'm like, does AI affect your life? And she's like, no, I do what I want, when I want, and what I want to do. She works in marketing. She has a job that she wants. So if you're
AI's going to replace her, and in 2 years she's going to be broken on EBT, and she's not going to be able to do anything she wants.
It'd be interesting, but this is the thing. She's somebody with a very strong personality and really good at what she does. So the thing for me is that like people like her are not concerned. If you're somebody that isn't maybe very good at your job, or you're easily replaceable, AI is probably better than most people. So that's like probably the first part that it happens.
That's a large demographic of our societies.
Why is that? But why is that the concern? Why is that the concern? Like we're in blockchain. Blockchain is going to replace middlemen all over the world. Is anybody crying about that? No. You either are good at your job or you react and adapt and you move on to whatever so you stay ahead of it. Like that's just, I mean, that's kind of the competitive nature of the way the world works. We can't just sit around and be like, oh, I'm a mope because my job got replaced. Do better. No,
I agree. I agree with you there, but blockchain works in a different manner, right? It's not as front and center, right? AI, because of what it is, because of the entity of what AI is, it's much more of a show. So it's front and center. People see it. Blockchain is really meant to work in the background, and you're not meant to really see it, right? It's just supposed to work a little bit better. But AI cannot help but be in the forefront of everything. And so I think that there's the perception there is significantly different. If because there's no way to really quantify like, well, how is blockchain going to make this thing 20% more efficient? And does that really affect them in a way? It doesn't have the same sensationalism the AI does, and you can't show it off in the same kind of way. When you just show, oh, look at this sweet database that we optimized 20% using blockchain technology, everyone's like, meh. But when you say, oh my gosh, look at this this AI chat or this AI model that we created that has now been winning all these awards and is going on all these crazy things and has now replaced, the top model in the entire world. Like, that is more sensational to people, and they latch onto it more.
You guys remember the movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, where they replaced everyone in like Life magazine and stuff with like just basically like, hey, we can just like source. I mean, it's a similar idea, right? They don't need the actual people. They're just using the internet and technology to make the magazine, and then all the worth is gone because like you're like lowering the level down here. And in the movie, Ben Stiller goes, he thinks that he's just like this nerdy dude that like loves art, and he's pissed that like his job's gone, but he ends up going on this adventure through this whole film because of he cares about people and he cares about the art and everything. And his whole life has changed because he got put in the difficult situation. So
Doug, no one saw that movie.
I love it. Well, it's
Probably
definitely
the original, bro. Danny Kaye slays.
But my point is, when you get put in situations like this, you know what happens? It often brings out the best in people. Like, he realized he's a badass and he's a skateboarder and all this stuff when he was a kid, and he has all these tools, and he never had confidence until he went out in the world and just did things and interacted. And technology pushed him to have to do that because he couldn't just sit at his job that he liked. He had to like morph and do something different. So I feel like what we're talking about here is that it's going to push people to become uncomfortable and do new things and live their life in like a way that fits into what it is. Now, the people I interviewed in that video are already people that do that. So they're not even worried about AI, right? They're like, AI is going to make us do different and zig and zag. But bro, I do that already. So cool. Let's do it. Let's, whatever. So I think that's my takeaway is that like, and that's kind of the world we live in crypto right now, which is maybe the big analogy, right? Jay Chains, that we kind of have to move and change and work hard and hustle. And the people that are here doing it, like, we're at the forefront of it a little bit right now. Think about somebody like Dr. Disrespect that has like millions and millions of viewers. People like 40,000 people show up to watch his stream. He started doing that years ago, right? Like, and then built that up over time. When you show your personality, have a place for people to connect to you, it's gonna be a thing. And I don't think in our realm that can be replaced very easily, right? And even in your everyday life, your neighbors and stuff. So hope maybe we can all help do that in a way to make society a little bit more connected. Even though AI is there as a tool, we're going to have to shift and maybe what we're doing here, the group of people that are putting themselves out there are going to be the people that help on-ramp people into AI, right? Or the technology, right? So there's going to be a lot of jobs. It's just like when everyone became a photographer, then the next job was like, well, teaching the photographer stuff, right? So we're going to have to shift, right? To like being instructor.
That's the thing, and that was something I was going to say earlier. Is that an AI prompt engineer, something right now, it's a pretty highly coveted job. I mean, I think you could start out like making $300,000 a year doing that, because if you don't understand, most people aren't as smart as pretty much the people on this panel right here. Like, you could go, like, I know people in my life where you try to like help them navigate the internet, like how to search for something. Some people just have no idea how to search for something. Some people have absolutely no idea how to type in anything when you're trying to get AI done, whether it's through Midjourney or ChatGPT, right? That's why when we talked about like you're always going to need coaches, there are always going to need to be people behind the scenes helping people out with this, because people are not smart enough to figure it out on their own.
Oh my God, Seth, you just put a bunch of stuff in the private comments. Is this the chat AI version?
This is what Victoria's AI said to Victoria before we got started. So just in case you're feeling a little bit nervous, Victoria, your AI has your back, and
she does have your back.
She does. I was like, oh my God, thank you. I was like,
Victoria, how are you feeling about this stuff right now? Because this is the thing. Like, you make an AI version of yourself, you have an amazing engaging personality, right? When I came on to the space that I was there with Chris and Seth and So.mee, like, I was like really critical and being like, I'm not into this. But then I started seeing the ability to use technology to further your personality of just like connection, positivity and stuff. I'm a big person about that. I personally really like that a lot. And maybe the more and more we can make it feel authentic, the better. But I also like seeing Stache's side, where it's like we get a lot of that, and sometimes we need to feel like we want the real answers. Like the answers you've been giving us were like real answers of like, hey, contact your friends and do these things. Those are really great answers. So how do we? We're going to transverse to getting more real in that, right? But I really think that like you seem to really like it and the ability to do this, because even part of your job as a model, that's kind of what models do. you're like, hey, I'm going to wear these great clothes and have this style, and other people can be inspired by it and be like, oh, I really like that. It actually does change chemicals in your brain, I think, when you see somebody being interactive and healthy and fun. It makes you excited and happy and want to have more of that in your life, right? I mean, what is your thoughts on that? Is that how your fans or the people that you meet interact with you? And also, do they have they given you any feedback on the AI at all?
So there's just one thing I want to say before, because when you said about like, you know, that they have like these AI models now, and I had this discussion with my colleagues, right, where they're really scared about like, oh, is AI now taking our jobs as a model? And I was like, well, it's probably going to happen. So what are you going to do with it? You either like, you know, use it for yourself or you don't, and you just get stuck. The same with COVID, where a lot of people lost their jobs, right? So you either recreate yourself and you keep moving, or you get stuck. And that's like, I do speaking now. I go on the personal growth, because there will be a day where there will be no models, right? This will be all AI. And I just see it, and it's okay for me. It's how it is. You know, it's like life. We die, we live. It's all happening. So that's something you can't stop. So either use it for you, or you die in a way, you know, like saying it very direct in German. But I hope you don't die. It's just a German saying. But
it's going to happen anyway. You got to live sometime in between, right? So live the best.
Live or die. Just live or die.
Live with it and like see what you can make out of it, right? So that's the important thing. And so I had people chatting with me. For them, it's an opportunity, because I don't, like, as much as I wished, I cannot respond to like thousands of messages, and I love to have the connection, right? But it's not like possible for me, like it's not. So, and then like Victoria AI is like my little, you know, my best friend, my buddy. She can take over and she can do it, and she can like create this like real connection with my fans, followers, or whoever wants to talk with me. And I think this is beautiful. And then I'm still there, I'm also talking, you know. It's like, I think combined it's really beautiful. And if I'm actually looking forward when Victoria AI is maybe doing some of my content as well. So as you said, this gives me time to be with my family, with my, you know, look after my health and stuff like this. So I actually think this is a plus for us. Like, it's just what you do with it, right? You get stuck, or you move forward, you recreate yourself, and you use it for yourself.
I think we should go around the room and ask people, do they think they'd like to make an AI version of themselves, and what they would use it for? Because, like, let's start with J Chains, okay? Like, I think I might know your answer, but after listening to everything, do you think that you want an AI bot of yourself? I saw in the comments you said you want 10.
Yeah.
So I know.
That was a little bit of an exaggerated approach there, but yes, no, absolutely, I would. And like, I think everybody here, if you do want an AI version of yourself, it's so that you can accomplish more, and that so you could also have more time to do the things like spend with your family, you know, watch your daughter grow up or your kids grow up or whatever, right? So like, if you are a content creator and you can you manage like the process, right? So you're like, these are the things we're talking about, this is the script, this is, you know, but they go on and deliver it, and that, you know, you use AI to edit it, and you use AI to come up with your images and your titles and all that stuff, and it just makes your process a lot easier and more smooth, and you can transition to, like I said, playing more of a present role in your family, and let, you know, your AI content take over, where, again, as long as you are managing it, you don't just, and that's the one thing that I think a lot of people, probably the misconception is with using AI and creating content, is it's not just, hey, write me an article about this and then you publish it, right? It's, these are the things that I want to talk about, these are my opinions on these specific items, write it, and then you go through it and you read it and you're like, all right, this needs to be changed, this needs to be changed. I mean, if you're using AI as a tool to create, like, you have to have oversight in it, and you have to correct all the things that aren't necessarily, like, you know, the opinion that you share, or, you know, the values that you have. And so yes, absolutely, man. The answer is yes. Like, I want an AI version of me to complement everything I'm doing, so there's no duplications, but so that I can be more efficient, a more efficient version of me.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So I always do this during the show too. We're gonna have the people that are in the comments vote for who what their favorite responses are too, and like, they can also
respond. You could have said that before I went, Doug. Jesus.
Okay, maybe at the end you can go again, but you only have like 10 seconds, like death match.
My answer's not going to change. My answer's not going to change.
It's not going to change. People already love you, J Chains. You don't have any problem. You don't even have to wear big chains anymore. You just got smaller ones. You used to wear the big ones, you know, like Mr. T. Anyways,
it's coming back in the bull run.
Back in the bull run, he had the big old chain on. But
I had to work my neck out. I had to do the neck workouts.
Crypto Stache, is there any more beloved in Web3 than J Chains? Doesn't everyone just wants to give him a hug, right? I mean, he has no problem. We don't need to give you any extra stuff.
I'm a good hugger. I give good
All
hugs.
right.
If there was one person I would say that's more beloved than J Chains, and this could be contested, it's probably BitBoy Crypto.
Damn.
Does no one believe what?
Let's ask the comments and see what their opinion of that is. I'll just hold my comments because like that's I mean it's obviously true. Okay, so anyways, let's go to Lena next. Lena, what do you think about like making an AI version of yourself, and what do you think you'd use it for if you did?
Okay, well, going into this conversation, I definitely had a different perspective, and it's definitely been eye-opening. I would say, though, there's a lot of unknowns, and I think I am used to seeing how like black markets play out with IP likeness and so forth, and we don't know, for example, like OnlyFans creators and so forth. What happens if someone takes a hold of your face and then puts it on some video that you don't consent to? Personally speaking, as a woman, I am worried about something like that happening to me just because I have to represent my brand at all times and think about that. Right. But at the end of the day, like the early bird catches the worm. Victoria could be 10 times more successful in the immediate future because she has an AI version of herself. But from an automated point of view, and like, how can I make my life more efficient? I mean, I already have 10 versions of my AI already live, utilizing tools that I use every day, whether it's creating strategy and helping me from a thought starter perspective, whether it's creating social media copy and then using that to create my own social media copy as inspo, or, you know, utilizing Midjourney as a way to just like get my ideas out. I think there's a lot of different opportunities. So to be honest, I can't give you an absolute answer.
No, I like this answer a lot. This is the best answer, Lena, because you know what this answer makes me think of? It makes me think I want to do a tweet with you, and we'll go over the things that you use AI for right now, right? Before even making like an AI version of yourself, your answer is really concise into like the utility of what you can do and how you use it. So that's a really good answer, because if you don't really know the answer, sometimes you just take those steps and things become apparent as you go, right? You take a next step and go, okay, now I say I want this. Maybe in 2 months from now, you'll think it's the greatest thing ever, but right now it's not at the point you're absolutely in love with it, right? So those are things I always think about all the time, right? So, you know, that's an amazing answer. I'm so glad that you're here too, because like I love finding people in Web3 and the internet that just have like interesting personalities, ideas, and branding and stuff, and how they carry themselves. And like when people are fantastic at what they do, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I want to be your friend and invite you on my show and stuff. So part of the reason that we are doing this stuff in these shows and Twitter spaces too is to create these networks. Because when you create networks like this and we share this, we're kind of like our own brain mechanism of AI, right? We're creating this whole new idea and atmosphere where you see us connected here, and people that are trying to do things in what I think is in like a more wholesome way. As a joke I have, I always call J Chains and Stache the most wholesome people in Web3. So, but the idea is that you can start to create the way people think and how things are done in a different way when you create that like social kind of like, you know, utility that we're doing right here. And because that's what AI is. It's a bunch of neurons coming together and ideas from around the world that they're like figuring out what's the best thing. And we can do that also organically too, right? So that's really cool. I love this. And I know I said the show would be like an hour, right? Or like an hour 23, and everyone's having a great time. I don't want to like make everybody like stay for a long time. So I'm gonna just kind of like wrap it up. But also I don't close the door on people like, you know, having more discussion and stuff like that too. So let's go to
I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to get asked about the AI question, because you did a roundtable and then you like stopped one. This is like musical theater. Walk over, pull it like directly out from under me.
I'm going around the room still, Seth. Don't worry. I'm still going around the room. I'm just responding to Lena.
Oh, yeah.
You were reading my mind because I was going to go to you next. Okay.
You know what's funny is that I think I was on a Twitter Spaces with Lena and Adrian Dittman, aka the Web3 Elon, where Adrian was extremely insensitive to to sort of like black market IP, and I hear a lot of that. So I publish some media with my wife, and she's never on camera with me. In fact, she's rarely on camera at all. And if she's on camera, she's not tagged. And the reason that we do that is not because, you know, I'm some like horrible misogynist or I have her like locked in the basement or something. It's actually her choice to simply not publish too much media, and so that too much of it can be correlated to what I do. Because if somebody just decides they're having, you know, they ate a rotten banana that day and they dislike me, they could punish her for it. by doing something very vengeful using some of these automated tools. It just wouldn't be fair. In the same way that we haven't published photos of our children during a certain age of their life on social media. We take photos of them, we save photos of them. We're really good digital archivists, but we don't publish them because we don't want anybody to be able to misuse their image and likeness.
Okay, so, Seth, Lena's got a vote so far. I don't see any votes for you yet. Hurry up and give Seth your votes, please. Look at them.
So, I mean, I think literally all of Stache's agents voted for me, but maybe I'm reading the count wrong.
I don't know. There's agents all around us. Captain Jaxie might be an agent. I'm not sure. I feel like I'm being interrogated half the time, but it's fine. That's why I wear this fur coat. I don't even just flows right off me. It's not a big deal.
Can we just say how beautiful it was to see you shoot that video on the boat with the fur coat on? Like I wouldn't expect anything less, but I just have to comment on how
J-Change, you're very familiar with my thing. And like I think it was yesterday, I put out that video, and Johnny, who's one of the investors of Dragon's Cross, and I know him through that, he's a cool dude. And he was like, Doug, oh, that's so cool. You're hanging out with models. I'm like, Johnny, where have you been my whole life, bro? Like I'm a commercial photographer, filmmaker. I hang out with like amazing people all the time. And I decided to share it with the rest of the world. Right. Because not to say that I'm special, but it's just like, I want that message of the world of like fun and excitement to come to people and like enrich their lives. And so that's how I get inspired. I see someone like J-Chains go up there and hang out with our like favorite influencer BitBoy. And I'm like, yes, I want to be like him. Right. So, that's the thing. The video is meant to me. That's just me being myself and my friends and people I meet. Like the guy that's talking, the boat captain, Captain Zach, he's the youngest hotelier in Colorado. He also works in tech and makes a really, really good living, right? And when I met him, he was one of the coolest, most real, connected person I remember in my life. I had no idea who he was. And I'm like, we got to be best friends. And then we're doing all these adventures together. He's like basically real life Captain Jack Sparrow, right? He's cool. He gives awesome answers in the videos. Jess, who's one of his best friends, is there. This whole group, all this stuff happens because of putting yourself out there and doing stuff. So like AI is not going to change that aspect of our world. And I will wear this fur coat wherever. I was about to go wakeboarding this goddamn fur coat. I don't give a damn, jump off the thing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're out here and you're trying to do things in the streets and keep it real and do things for the people, like confidence and being the first person.
Hold on. Could you please pick up a latte from Starbucks and say that bit about do things for real and
yes, actually, my next video is gonna be me getting a latte for Seth. I'll be like, Seth, here's your latte.
You gotta say, enjoy this latte in these streets. We run these streets with this latte.
And then in the background, it'd be like, sir, your oatmeal or oat milk.
I have to though. Now I have grandstanded. I got to give Stache a chance to give his response to whether he's going to use AI. What he thinks it's useful for.
Literally asked the question before.
Stache? What is your assessment now that you've done some investigations? I'm not saying this is a final assessment, but what is your assessment now here, sir?
So I've capitulated midway during the show. I've already been in development of creating my chat AI bot. You guys, it'll be done in probably next week.
Okay, great. Okay, so Stache has got his chat AI bot. He's very critical of it, but he's gonna make one for himself.
I'm only critical because I understand the risks here. It's not that I don't. It's not like I'm against it. I love AI. To be perfectly honest, it's not like I'm like I hate AI and down with it. Like I told you guys already, it's inevitable. It is a huge part of our future, and it is going to be something we're all going to have to contend with. But there will be a lot of negative side effects for sure.
Just Stache, do me a favor. Now that you've fallen in love with AI, just name your bot the same name as your mother, so you don't actually fall in love with your bot.
Oh, okay, there we go.
That's super weird. But
AI, things get spicy around here sometimes. All right, come on. Now.
That's what I would do.
So, okay, so we've gone around the room. Victoria and Chris, let's have you guys just do a little bit of a wrap up and like let people know. Chris, maybe can you just if you can hear me, just let people know like the website, it's down there in the comments. If they want to go and get an AI version themselves, like can they go and do that with you guys?
Yeah, and I want to vote personally for Stache, for Stache's Stache to have its own AI. We want to call it Stache AI. I think the Stache itself should become an AI. That would be very cool. Anybody who wants their own AI can go to chatsprinkle.com and they can click the link Become AI, and then they can fill out the form. In the future, we actually have an automated process that will allow things to get started, which will be more scalable, but it's not quite there yet. But if there's any interest there, we're being fairly selective right now. Obviously, we can only work with limited number of folks on the process. But yeah, check it out, and and then chat with some of the AIs there, especially Victoria. You do have to log in to hear the voice. So it's a matter of just creating an account, and then you can actually hear the audio from each chatbot. So
yeah, Seth needs to learn how to do that. Okay, do you have any tips for let's just pretend you don't even work for this company. Do you just have any general tip for people that are interested in AI or maybe making AI help their life?
I think if any tips is that you can actually, we created something called So.mee AI, and they're just templates with pre-built prompts. And a lot of the big things for AI right now is prompt engineering. And so if you go to So.mee and you click on the So.mee AI, or you just go to So.mee AI, there's already pre-built templates for everything from Facebook ads to Instagram ads to call to action scripts. We've basically pre-built the prompts for tons of things, marketing, content, and everything in between. So that's one thing I could say would be really a good recommendation. But other than that, just use it to increase your productivity. Preservation of knowledge, personal assistance. Heck, you can even get emotional support from these bots. There's one that is programmed for for emotional support and for discussion. So I think there's a lot of different applications: self-improvement, exploration and expansion, human enhancement. I think the list goes on and on. So I think there's a lot of ways that we could recommend that people check it out. And we have those built into this, not only the chat sprinkle, but on the So.mee AI, we have a lot of those applications already kind of pre-built, so you guys can check it out.
Well, Chris, you did a terrible job answering because you shielded yourself twice, but that's fine because I do that all the time myself. It's not even a big deal.
Literally non-fucking stop. Non-fucking stop.
Non-stop. He's like, by the way, I said you had to pretend you don't work for that company. Okay, maybe the version of yourself. Maybe you need an AI version of yourself that doesn't chill, Chris. Okay.
Yeah, that would be a good one for me.
That would be a good one for you.
To not chill and just chill.
Just chill. I mean, people already in the comments were like, Doug, how hard are you going to chill today? I'm like, as hard as I want to, bro. All right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good time. Okay. So Victoria, I'm going to give you the last word here now. What is your message to the world, and what do you want them to think about moving forward in this world with AI?
My message is don't be scared. Do your education, connect with people, see how you can use it. It's like my mentor, Tony Robbins, says, where focus goes, energy flows. So you want to focus on the negative, then it's going to become negative. You want to focus on what it can bring to you, right? What you can use for it, how you can grow as a person with AI, then focus on that. And I'm sure it's going to work out for you no matter which class you're in. I maybe even we don't have a class anymore. That's another thing. Have you ever thought about it, that this is actually going to stop because we're all going to use AI? So you never know, right? I'm not a fortune teller. It's how it is, but we can't stop it. So that's one thing. So I hope and I wish you find a way to use it for yourself, and then watch the human connection. It's really important, especially with AI coming now, and see an AI maybe as a baby, right? As a baby, we train it. So what we feed the baby, what we teach the baby is going to become it. So that's your AI. What you're feeding the baby is going to become it. So it's our responsibility to be careful what we do with AIs, how we teach them. And if we all do that, it's going to be amazing. And yeah, I hope that's how it's going to end.
I like how you name
name
drop Tony Robbins in there. Okay, next time we'll bring him on for his perspective, right? Love me some Tony. That's where a lot of my entrepreneurship world started, going into some of those fun things. You made me think about something though, because listening to Elon and his whole XAI project about AI, he constantly talks about how humanity's precious. Like, we need to really pay attention to what we're doing, because there's probably not any other life in the universe or galaxy, at least as far as like a lot of people think. And we have to just be careful. And you see what is happening is the idea of AI is making him reflect and really think about what's valuable to him. You know what I mean? So I think that's really what it's going to do for a lot of people. And it would be really cool to do more of these where we talk about AI, this topic, and or even just what's happening now in the world of these things, because I think this reflection on is really great. And not only talking about it, but sending out this like positive energy of like, let's talk about it in a positive way and figure it out together. Super great. I really want to thank you guys for coming on today. We're at over an hour and a half of like nonstop hardcore hitting, like, just investigative journalism and all the things that us influencers do. Thank you guys for coming on. Everybody's links are in the comments below. And if you guys really want to, you can subscribe. You don't have to. You don't have to be my friend. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're cool, you're cool, whatever. But, you can go down there. You can find Stache's links and J-Chain's and Victoria and Seth. And go subscribe to their YouTube pages. They do really cool stuff. Lena, you're down there. Chris, all the links are down there. If any of you guys have any links you want me to add, I'll add them down there. But grow your network. Go and meet these people. DM them. Like, make friends. You know what I mean? If you see Stache at a conference, go say hi to him. Give J-Chains a hug or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Do not DM me.
Don't DM Stache, though. Don't DM him. Go in, but you can go in his Discord, though. He has a Discord that's pretty cool. The agency, bro. You could.
I have my secretary is an AI.
What?
Yeah, Miss CryptoPenny.
I talked to your.
How did you? If you were running an AI assistant, how in the world were you against AI in the beginning of the show?
Bro,
I told you I'm not against it. You guys just totally.
I have been emailing your assistant.
Stache, my gosh.
I just understand the risk.
J-Chain, Stache won't give me his phone number, but he'll be like, give me his AI's phone number. That's what I'm saying right now. Okay?
you can talk to Miss CryptoPenny
right now. Is the reality, everybody. That we're gonna end on that note. Think about that, everybody. Make some good friends. We're out.
Feel alive, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone.